Yeah, well, it come from the hypocrite who makes 9/11 jokes.
I didn't put it to music.
You're right. That was the line that was drawn.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Autopod Decepticast, your bi-weekly podcast that delivers an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 series. And by G1 series, today, this week, we're talking about GIJoe. That's right. This is part 2 of our Doe for Joe breakdown, brought to you, sponsored by the unknown patron. Today's episode, APDC episode 211, is GIJoe's Nightmare Assault. I was about to say Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Asshole. Nightmare Assault.
That's right. Season 2.
Episode 24.
That's right. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I am your co-host, Caleb.
And I'm Ryan.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good, man.
Y'all have any bad dreams lately?
I like bad dreams.
I have not.
Ryan, tell us about a bad dream you've had lately. Oh, wait, you just did.
I did on the no. Well, that wasn't a dream.
You're right.
On the
So
last
tell us
episode.
about a dream then.
I had a dream that I was working for Disney Cruise Lines, and I couldn't find my office. And then West decided to break up with me and go golfing with some guy. I was pretty sad when I woke up from that.
I commonly, when I have bad dreams, the common theme is that I'm in a building, or a lot of it's like I'm back at school, and I cannot find the class or get there on time.
Right.
Like, just things keep preventing me from getting where I need to be.
I have a lot of those kind of dreams, too.
Yeah.
where
I think
have
everyone
a-
does,
I have
where
a
it's like
goal
time
or an
dilation.
objective, and
Yeah.
it just takes me... There's all these obstacles in your path to accomplishing
One thing
your
after another. Yeah, the school gets really big. It's like the biggest school ever, or whatever that is.
Right. Or there's just distractions.
That's why I don't like I do not like Alice in Wonderland. It drives me nuts. It's the same kind of concept.
Right.
Don't like it.
Right.
Frustrating.
Do you guys ever have dreams where your teeth fall out? Because I do.
No?
Sometimes. I had a dream a couple of months ago where I was looking at comic books in a shop in the mall, and then somebody came up and shot me in the back 6 times, and I died.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
An early dream of mine that I've told my boys about, and they find it hilarious, is like when I was real little, I remember having a dream about that I was in ancient Egypt, and the Egyptians, didn't really have, like, maybe they didn't have many clothes on or something, and their butt cheeks, they had an ass crack going normal, going vertical. They had an additional crack going horizontal.
Like a plus sign?
So they had like 4 butt cheeks that looked like biscuits, like in a biscuit tin. So there's that.
I remember a childhood dream where I was being chased by a 57 Chevy that kept setting me on fire.
Wow. How did it set you on fire?
It had a flamethrower.
Far out.
I die a lot in my dreams.
Yeah.
I never die.
I've been shot in my dreams a few times. I just remember laying there being like, ow, it burns.
I'm always like,
And I
I'm
wake
going to
up.
kill the rats, Dad.
Good job.
Dreams.
I will say one of the real things I did like recently. I made a bunch of canned peaches.
In your dreams?
No. This is real. This is just a story because West's mom stayed with us last weekend. She came down from Omaha and stayed with us, and she has a peach tree in her yard. And I made a bunch of pickled peaches and some peach butter, and then I'm gonna make some spicy peach spread as well.
Cool.
Hook us up with that peach butter, bro.
No, I only have 3.
Has she been here before?
Not. I don't think she's been to the house before. She's been to Springfield several times, but she hasn't stayed with us before.
What did she sleep in the guest bedroom?
Yes. No, she slept with us.
Oh, I don't know.
Freaky. Well, let's get into this episode, but let's start by shouting out the patrons. We've got Alpha Magnus, Debbie, Jeremy, Skeeter, Mr. Sadler, Mike Seibert of Mike Seibert Radio, Bono, Michael Trimblett, Justin R., Jonathan, Robinus Prime, Classic Daniel, Safubi Samurai, Chandler, Jay Soups, Matty V, Nick the Toy Mad Dad, Ken Bockelman,
Big Cap.
TFB Greg Murray, Captain Alexis, Corey, James and Julia, Mr. Michael Ordway, Tim Dubs, Jason from Cracktastic Plastic, Thomas, Justin B., Triclops, Alex, Simon, New Daniel, Seven the Chronicler, Argonus Prime, The Unknown Patron, Brian Jones, Rick, a.k.a. Autobot 1000, and Mark, a.k.a. Zarmat. We've actually got one more out there, but they're holding back on us on their
The goods
information.
I have some podcast-related information.
What?
Let's do it.
So I got an email. We got an email.
Thank you to our patrons.
Yeah, thanks a lot, patrons.
By the way,
if you would like to become a patron, give us some money, and you're a patron.
That's all it takes. We got an email from Carlos from Pod Status. They didn't seem to want anything. It wasn't like the emails we get where it's like, hey, you want to increase your reach? Maybe you give us a couple of shekels and we'll do something nebulous.
optimize your searches.
Exactly.
So like, hey, if you like what I'm giving you here about your podcast rankings, want to make your penis bigger?
Yeah, right. They really took a turn. This was just seems to be information. I don't know why, but like so. Did you guys know we are, this should have been the last episode, but I'm switching up everything.
Yeah.
We're very big in Albania.
According to this poll, or according to his statistics.
His figures. Yeah. He said, how's it going? Hope all is well. I have some cool information that might interest you. Your podcast, Autobot Decepticast, a bi-weekly retrospective of the G1 Transformers animated movie and cartoon, has good performance in Apple Podcasts ranking over the last 30 days. It is at position 7 in the category TV reviews in Albania, position 39 in TV reviews in Malaysia, position 46 in reviews in the United Kingdom, position 55 in TV reviews in Australia, position 86 in TV and film in Albania, and position 131 in TV reviews in the United States. Happy podcasting, Carlos from Pod Status.
That is pretty remarkable. I've seen rankings like that before where we seem to be big in Indonesia and Malaysia, but I can't verify any of it, you know. But to all of our Albanian listeners out there, Felminderit.
Oh, that's certainly right.
Let's try that. Let's see what the computer says.
Faleminderit.
Yes.
I can't determine if we have any reviews from Albania. I just put it in and they
I
don't show
checked.
'em.
I looked the other day on all the different country codes, and I couldn't find anything except on Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States.
I sent you guys a video from Cheers about Albania that I don't think you watched.
Nope.
I'm afraid I didn't.
It was like a minute and a half. It was when Coach and Sam, they were taking night classes, and Coach did a song about Albania. Albania, Albania, you border on the Adriatic, which is why I know that. And then I don't remember the middle part, but then your main export is tin.
Set to "Oh, when the Saints go marching in." Yes.
I guess.
Oh, when the Saints, oh, when the Saints, oh, when the Saints go marching in.
Sure.
So that's exactly, he ripped off
He ripped it off.
the Saints.
I don't think he was cutting an album.
Maybe it was more of a parody, Weird Al style.
I would agree. Ah, yeah, good old Albania. Thanks.
So, thanks, Carlos.
Thanks, Carlos.
For that information, I don't know what we can do with that.
We don't know what your angle is here, but
It was
keep
just
it coming.
interesting. I'm like, so you don't want anything and you're just telling us? Cool. All right.
What was the name of his site again?
Pod Status. All one word.
All right.
Did you look that up?
Nah.
Podcast reviews and rankings. I don't know if I want your cookies. Okay, functional only.
No, these cookies.
Okay, well,
Cookie.
I guess they didn't even say if you want more of this, come to this thing that we have.
We'll give you more of what we just gave you.
All right, well,
That's it.
You know, Ryan, I didn't write anything witty here. Why don't you serve us up something that maybe will give us nightmares?
How about pleasant dreams?
Okay.
Oh. Okay, hold on.
Let's see here. What does pod status offer? Oh, Carlos Tenure.
Oh, there he is.
It's one guy, computer engineer from the University of Grenada.
I like how he's crossed out the word us, about us. It's like about me.
Me, because it's just me. Freelance work as a mobile developer with pod status. After living in Germany, I returned to Spain to work as a freelancer to implement my projects. He lives in Barcelona, and he also goes to my town in Andalusia often. Andalusia. Join hundreds of happy podcasters, such as Phil Palin. This is one of the best apps for podcasters. No other viable way to keep track of reviews in so many places. And the country's ranking keeps me engaged and motivated.
So I see what he's selling here. Yeah. I see what's information to help us
know
who's listening so that we can do something about it.
Well, maybe we want to make some Albanian-specific content, really drive the message home, like you just did.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I should have had us like go hang out in Albania while Ryan's making drinks. Instead, I'll just play some Albanian folk songs.
This is called pandering.
I like their flag. What's it say about Albania, Aaron? That's a badass flag that Albania has.
What do you think that is? A two-headed phoenix?
Or, yeah, something like that. Or usually an eagle.
Well, Caleb, it's in southeastern Europe.
Yeah.
It's located in the Balkans on the Adriatic Sea, as previously mentioned. It shares borders with Montenegro to the northwest, Kosovo to the northeast, and, of course, northern Macedonia to the east. And it also, touches Greece.
Is there any famous people from Albania that we know of?
Famous Albanians. That feels like another Google search, Caleb. Rita Ora is apparently
Dua Lipa.
Albanian. Dua Lipa, Albanian British. Mother Teresa was Albanian.
Jim Belushi.
Bebe Rexha. Of course, Skanderbeg. Eliza Dushku, as previously stated, Jim Belushi. And, of course, Bliona.
Oh, yes, Bliona.
Ryan, what have we? I now have 4 drinks in front of me.
I see 4 drinks. Little start.
I get it.
Thanks, Ryan.
but I dismiss it as well.
Unlike every time I mention Star Trek and you're like, I don't think that episode existed.
I say that?
Like the last 2 times I've mentioned Star Trek episodes, you're like, I don't remember that at all.
I can't help it if I don't remember it. That doesn't mean I'm dismissing it as like next time.
Remember everything.
Next
like
time I'll lie. Yeah, I remember that one so vividly.
This is, we have another cocktail from our unknown patron for this one. Although I don't know what the name means, I asked way too late and didn't get an answer before this recording. This is called the TTG-A number 3, which sounds like a robot.
That's their name for this?
Yeah.
Cool.
Dateline, GIJoe cocktail. Good evening, friends and all the ships at sea. Let's go to press. Your intrepid reporter has learned from our secret source the meaning of this cocktail's nomenclature. The TTG-A number 3 stands for Thrown Together Absinthe number 3. It was an experiment with a new liquor type that our benefactor thought was pretty good. Now, let's get back to our show already in progress. For this, you need 2 ounces or 60 mils of Galliano, or most herbal liquors will work. You could substitute orzo very easily here. 1 ounce, 30 mils of creme de cacao, and 1 ounce of absinthe. Stir with ice and strain into a chilled coupe.
I thought I smelled that anise.
Mm-hmm. Again, wonderful presentation, Ryan.
Great glass. Cheers to Caleb. Cheers to Ryan.
And there's some extra.
Now you guys cheers each other, or it's not complete.
No. Woo!
There's some extra in that bottle right there.
Strong.
Yeah, it's all booze.
Denise is strong with this one. It punched me in the face up front so hard I will say it's not refreshing, but I do like it. It'll probably get more refreshing as I drink more of it.
It's a sipper.
That's one that that's like if you're under the weather, that's the kind of drink you can drink too to like make you forget that you're sick.
I don't know if I've made a hot toddy on this show yet.
I think
you've made hot.
maybe.
You've made hot drinks and they were great. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I love this opalescent cocktail, and it's opalescent because whenever you add water or ice to absinthe, it becomes milky colored.
This is very milky.
He said it was an experiment with absinthe, and I think it's very good and well balanced. Like the licorice and herbs of the Galliano, I feel like the creme de cacao rounds it out. And unsurprisingly to me, it tastes like a licorice chocolate candy.
I'm going to have to say the unknown patron knows their drinks.
I was going to say
too about
they may
mixing
have a
it.
calling as an amateur mixologist, like I like to fancy myself.
Maybe they're a professional mixologist. We don't know. They're
That's true.
unknown.
Yeah.
Creme de cacao and Galliano are very often paired together. Galliano and creme de cacao with heavy cream is a golden Cadillac, but I couldn't find any corollary for this cocktail, so it's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, the balance is nice. The anise is one of those things that I never like with the first sip, but you kind of you settle into it, and it gets all right.
I also should have probably done it in batches. I did it all together, so it would have been colder if I'd stirred it in batches, but...
No, well done.
I think it's good. Good preparation, good recipe. I mean,
Yeah, it's a great drink.
despite my bias against the flavor profile, I have to contend that it's
I recognize that this is
well
this is-
made. It's like it feels right.
If you showed this to ChatGPT, it would recognize this as a cocktail.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would be like, cocktail, set sail through the mail.
I told it to rhyme.
All
That was
hail.
I didn't tell it like it. It structured it like song lyrics. I didn't want a song.
Yeah.
I just wanted rhyming. Anyway, I wrote this one. I think
Huh?
I can't remember.
Or versus you.
I've
versus
so
Chat
integrated
GPT.
Chat GPT into my life.
don't know
Last episode recap. Enter Angie Martinez, Left Eye, DeBrat, and Missy Elliott. For it is a ladies' night. No, Chat GPT did help me write this.
Okay.
Enter Angie Martinez, Left Eye, DeBrat, and Missy Elliott, for it was a ladies' night fiesta. In the mystical moonlight, the Baroness stumbles upon an age-old seashell that emitting a melody that bewitches, bending male G.I. Joes to her will and weaving a web of whispered wishes.
Good.
That is what happened.
It's true.
Sorry, I was confused a little bit by the taxonomy there. But let's get into season 2 of G.I. Joe Nightmare Assault.
We skip way ahead here.
Written by Marv Wolfman, and again, I have no idea.
I couldn't find the studio on this
A
one.
lot has happened. Serpentor's now in charge.
Yep.
The movies. The
How do
movie
you
doesn't happen
feel
anymore.
about Serpentor, Caleb?
I hate him.
Really?
I do not like him.
Not even for like the craziness?
No, no, not even. He's
Is it because
He's
you
G.I.
feel...
Joe's Galvatron.
I would say that's a pretty accurate... Is it because you feel bad for Cobra Commander?
I'm sure part of that's there. I didn't want to see that change. I really enjoyed but I really enjoyed the episodes where they're going all over the world finding different
parts.
DNA and making him. But once he's made, I think he just doesn't seem like he's not that interesting to me.
I tell you what, he's got a lot of commands.
I think he doesn't seem like a very.
He's not patient either.
He just seems very simple to me.
Like one note, there's not a lot.
Yeah, you would
interesting
think there'd
to
be
him.
more.
Okay.
Yeah, they could have made this character a lot more interesting. However, I do appreciate that because he just seems like a moron. That
For being made from the most brilliant
Yeah.
military monsters.
yeah, I do appreciate though how they developed the characters around him to basically roll their eyes, like specifically Cobra Commander. Mm-hmm. So I do appreciate that dynamic, but I do not like Serpentor.
Okay.
I do not think he's a good leader.
Good design, though.
I
Cool
think he
design.
looks kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's just too
His
much.
eyeliner game is on point.
I actually have that note.
Yeah,
Serpentor's eyeliner game, I think
Yeah.
I even said that, is
Yeah.
on point.
yeah.
I hacked into your computer.
Oh, no.
He just seems
Don't look at my history.
He just seems ridiculous. So there you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, at least in this episode, he exhibits any qualities that
I
make me believe he's
No.
any better of a leader than Cobra Commander
He
by
didn't-
any means.
Yeah,
He's
did-
mainly just screaming about things to happen faster.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even like him as a kid.
He's
Like,
keeping the
it's-
trains running on time.
Mussolini.
Well, let's get into this here. It's another strong opening sequence. We've got the season 2 opening sequence.
Yeah,
here.
I think The animation on the last one was good. I think the animation on this one was a little better. Even.
really?
I liked it a little better. Our commissioner here wrote that this is their favorite season 2 episode, mostly for the ending. So stay tuned for that.
All right. Well, we've got the USS Flag.
Absolutely.
Slicing through the ocean.
Speaking of toys.
Yeah. We have Conquest X-30s soaring from its mighty deck. Yo, Joe! Shouts Flint.
Are you Katharine Hepburn?
Joe.
No, I'm Flint. As the team surges toward the threat. Well, the threat is a Cobra base, a dome of terror. The Joes... What?
I'm going to stop you right there real quick.
I'm stopping.
Can you go back to where Lady J throws the spear? A little bit further. There it is. Yeah, okay. So we see Lady J throw a spear at Serpentor. Now, this is going to be interesting for no one. So the intro to Lady J, she throws her spear at Serpentor, and the Joes are coming from the left side of the screen. And when she throws the spear, we get a close-up of the spear opening up into a net, but the problem is
On the wrong side.
They cross the axis of the camera, meaning she throws from camera left towards Serpentor, who's coming at us from the right, but in the close-up, the spear is facing left back toward the direction in which she threw it, which is a big filmmaking no-no. It's confusing. Not here, really, but like
because it's so fast.
Yeah, but like if you like in filmmaking, if like you see somebody going on a road trip and they're driving toward the left of the camera, you assume they're going west. And like if you show them driving back right, you assume they're backtracking. It's that kind of thing.
Thank you for sharing this moment from your time at film school.
That's my pedantic moment for the episode, or is it? We'll stay tuned.
Bring them all on. Bring them all on, Ryan. Don't hold back.
I mean, I think that'd be a great segment to start having and call it Interesting to No One.
That's just my job on the show.
The Joes storm the beach. It's like the opening of Saving Private Ryan, only their uniforms don't match, and they have those planes, and AWE Stryker dune buggies, and Sergeant Slaughter, and his Triple T. Explosions everywhere. Slaughter knocks out a dreadnought on a vehicle I couldn't identify in 5 minutes, so I quit. The beach is infiltrated. Lady J nets Serpentor as Cobra flight pods by the dozens take flight.
Sure.
A Joe Havoc appears with a parade of silver mirages behind it. So many Joes!
And we get to see the bats.
Joes scale the base, kick Cobras in the face, and bazooka a bat as well. The Joes bring all their toys to these opening sequences.
I really like the Cobra, what are they called? The pods, whatever those are.
The flight pods.
Yeah, those are cool.
They have the least cool name of any.
It's not even creative.
And they're a staple of their
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they always are using those.
The giant Cobra head statue that was attached to the base falls to the ground, coating the Cobra base in Joe victory and, presumably, concrete. So, we open on a scene of punishing frozen wind and snow. Joe Lifeline is working his way through it only to fail, or rather fall, through some weak ice into the cold water. Watch out for hypothermia.
Watch out for Daddy's beatings. He's wearing those shoes that you hate. Does anyone get this reference?
That might be a Ryan and me thing. We got a lot of history, you and me.
We've been around the block.
He pulls himself out of the water and finds his pal Iceberg, who claims to be fine, but in no way is. He wheezes.
No, he doesn't claim to be fine.
But no, I thought he did.
No, he says they
like,
killed me.
Well, later.
No,
I think when he first approaches him, he says
I don't
fine.
think so.
All right, let's check the record.
Lifeline! Iceberg? Good Lord, Iceberg! Lifeline!
He says
I think
lifeline.
You're hearing lifeline.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I'm wrong.
This is also, I mean, spoilers, this is a dream, but we fucking come in hot with, like, we use the word die no more than twice, or more than twice to describe his condition, and Iceberg says, it's too late, Cobra got me.
Yeah.
And this episode deals, I mean, again, a lot of it's in dreams, but this episode has a lot of death and, like, killing, and like, they say die a bunch.
It's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma.
And I guess you can kill people in cartoons if it's a dream?
You don't see anybody die per se.
You kind of see him die, Iceberg, because he falls through and then just sinks to the bottom.
I guess that's true.
And there's explosions of the other Joes in
their planes explode.
But they don't. But
And
they
they
don't.
don't
They
jump
never.
out.
But they don't show up
The bodies.
his face with
Right.
like the X's over the eyes or anything like that.
Or angels
I will-
flying out of their bodies.
Yeah, or
with
him like
halos.
or him ascending to heaven.
Yeah.
None of that.
I would also point out here the excellent use of Foley work, where the sounds of the snow squeaking as they walk and move in the snow is really good.
Yeah. Okay, so Lifeline is not fine, and he does not claim to be, as the record shows. He wheezes, "Cobra got me. Save yourself." And Lifeline is about to give Iceberg a vial of green goo that will save him, but then he's attacked by a giant fucking cobra, like a real one, 100 feet tall. Kill it, Lifeline! Mm-hmm. The giant beast barfs up dozens of cobra flight pods, which shoot at the Joes. Iceberg's like, shoot those fuckers, but Lifeline won't do it because he's some kind of pacifist, like Transformers' own First Aid.
I had that note too. Iceberg asks Lifeline to kill the giant cobra, and Lifeline says, I can't kill. And then, in the ultimate weapon, as a healer, like First Aid, it couldn't violate his pacifist beliefs.
The enemies shoot the ice. Iceberg falls into the sea. Lifeline urges Iceberg to grab his hand, but instead, he just kind of gives him a gun. Slips
He gives him a gun.
I don't know why now I'm getting advertisements for Vegas shows.
That's not Vegas. That's
Branson
Branson
shows, yeah.
I've been to that show.
Really?
Is it any good? The Hay Goods?
It's not very good. It's hey bad.
Oh, man, that's some TMZ level awesome humor there. Good job.
It was
So
fun.
Iceberg
It was
sinks
fine.
to the bottom of the ocean, better than you could do.
It was
Better than you.
Yeah, I shouldn't put them down. They're trying to make a living.
Lifeline can't use this pistol for shit. And then the pistol morphs into a regular-sized snake, which morphs into a half dozen other regular snakes. No! But
Yeah.
Ryan, it was all a dream.
Yep.
Rather a nightmare.
I do appreciate that Lifeline wears full pajamas.
No, you don't see that often nowadays.
Yeah, I this is a thing, not to get too far afield, but this is a thing that I didn't really realize whenever I watched like Looney Tunes or like old cartoons where like, of course these are guys that were writing from the, like they grew up in the 30s whenever people would wear like garters and would wear like full pajamas, and pajamas were necessary because central heating didn't exist. And so like sleeping caps, that's why we wore those, but like we don't really need that anymore. And that just, I cannot imagine sleeping in pants.
No.
I don't sleep with any clothes on.
I don't either.
And some people like can't wrap their head around why I don't like to sleep with
I just
clothes
don't like anything on. I
Yeah.
don't like to be encumbered.
Yeah, same.
I just feel like it's not comfortable.
Yep.
Do you sleep naked too, Aaron?
I sleep in underwear. But
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Although I need to get new underwear because I've noticed that when I'm sleeping,
You're
I find,
shitting in it?
Your balls are hanging out
No.
one side. Is it like loose?
No, I gained a little weight, so the band of the underwear like
It's cutting
flips
into
up.
your belly?
No, it doesn't cut into my belly. It kind of flips over.
Sure.
And I
Sure.
gotta then that's uncomfortable, and I find myself adjusting it. So I should just sleep naked.
Yeah.
Avoid the anxiety it gives me about weight gain and the
You can
discomfort.
you can cut the elastic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Small update on my weight, by the way. I have gained probably about 10 pounds,
You look-
and which is good, but then I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I kind of liked it when I was a little thinner. But then also, but I am a healthy weight now, and like I have noticed, like, when I put my pants on, I'm like, oh, they fit.
You have good color too. Like it seems like you're.
Thanks. I'm a lot healthier now, like, sure.
I'm glad to hear it.
This is a shout out to not Prozac. What is it on?
Lexapro,
Lexapro.
and then also, like I said, smoking weed has helped with my appetite.
Excellent. Thank you, weed.
Thanks, weed.
Are you high right now?
No,
Oh.
I could get there.
No.
I did. I can't remember if I told this on the podcast. I did take an edible. It was only like a 10 milligram, I think, weeks and weeks and weeks ago. I took it on a Saturday, and I lost my fucking mind for like about 4 hours. I got so high that whenever I started getting high, I was like, do I remember how to breathe?
Oh yeah.
But then once I settled into it, I was like, this is great, but I was too high to like have a conversation. Like Wes came out of the office and was talking to me. I'm like, I'm really high. I can't do, but I was still doing things, but like I was in the stratosphere. And she's like, oh man, I wish 10 milligrams did that to me.
Yeah. I edibles always they're too much for me. I don't smoke a lot of weed or anything anymore, but yeah, I remember edibles would always just like I'd be like, I gotta get off this ride.
I enjoy once I like let myself go. I enjoyed it a great deal, but like from next time we still have a few. I think I'll do a half.
Yeah.
I will never forget my favorite time on edibles. I'm pretty sure you were there, Caleb. I don't believe Ryan was. We'd spent a long day at the pool, and then we got home, and our friend Cuban B from Wyoming baked up some brownies and poppy seeds.
I remember that.
With that in the butter.
I
you
was
were there.
there.
Was that the party?
Yeah, I guess you lived there. Yeah.
Because that was my first experience with edibles, and
you
that
took
was
it.
real bad.
I
for
didn't
me.
know you ate them that night.
I must have eaten too much because I got so fucking high. I went and laid down, and time dilation happens. Like even whenever I was high and feeling good on the edible that I took recently, I was cooking at the time, and I would look at not my watch. I just looked at my wrist. I would look at my phone, and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. And I'm like, okay, I need to go check the soup because about 15 minutes have gone by. It's 3:02. And like, but on those brownies, it's felt like I was high for like 2 days. And I went down to my room and I laid in the bed. And every time I closed my eyes, I would get hallucinations. Specifically, I remember it looked like I was a tiny person on a field of broccoli that was being carpet bombed by milk.
Holy cow! Wow.
It was too much for me too, but I didn't realize that until I went to bed, and then I couldn't sleep because my mind was just scrambled. But in the moment, it was just one of the. I don't remember laughing this hard ever. Well, we played some game. There was about 10 or 12 people at the house.
Yeah, what was the game?
Well, everybody was given a sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, and we turned off the lights, and the challenge was make an elephant. Mm-hmm. Those are the only instructions. So the lights were off for a while until everybody said they were ready, and then the lights came on, and you had to present your elephant to everybody. And, of course, there was some hilarious interpretations, and it was funny. Were you not there then, Caleb?
There.
Okay,
I remember
he was
it.
there.
It's good stuff.
Were you super high?
I got
For Caleb at the time, it was just a regular Monday.
It was a Tuesday.
I remember being outside later on the hood of a vehicle, laying there going, oh. That's what I remember.
Yeah, we got fucked up.
Yeah.
We party, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We shit our pants. We party so hard.
No.
Yeah,
Orion, I'm glad that the weed's helping you.
Yeah. It's great.
for sure.
Cool.
We have a little vape pen that I really like.
Excellent.
Don't get paranoid like me.
I never get paranoid.
That's good. I'm happy for you there.
It's more internal where I'm like, like whenever it first started hitting, I'm like, am I just like this now? Sort of like whenever you like sometimes are on mushrooms and you're like, it's never going to end.
I ate some mushrooms last night. I must have a really high tolerance because I keep eating them, and I'm worried now. Like I keep eating. I'll eat a few and I'll be like, I kind of feel something, but it's not.
How long are you waiting?
Oh, like
45 minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
Last night I went and saw some comedy and ate 4 or 5, and something was going on, but
Are you sure they're not bunk shrooms?
no, I've had different people. So, but now I'm afraid like let's say I've been taking 5. Let's say I take 6, and then all of a sudden it's
It's over.
I'm worried that there's just a fine line between nothing and
Did you felt absolutely nothing, or just much less?
I felt
than you
mildly.
should have
I felt mildly euphoric, but if I wouldn't have known that I'd taken them, I would have necessarily have been like, something's up.
Right.
That's all.
You didn't get any visuals or anything.
Nope. Zero. So that's me. So maybe I just need to do more. But now I'm afraid if I step over, if I take one more, then it's like it all catches up.
I feel like I have a pretty low tolerance for mushrooms, whereas West, she took the same amount I did one time, and she didn't feel anything.
Just kind of like me.
And I was seeing visuals. I was seeing like dancing patterns in the tiles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So all this kind of has stuff to do with these
The
dreams.
psychedelic dreams.
Yeah.
Way to bring it back, Caleb.
Thank you.
Good job.
Oh yeah, back to the
Not
pajamas.
Lowlight, Lifeline comes in the
Lifeline.
pajama room, the rec room.
Yeah. So
I do wish he would walk into the room like Aaron with his undersized with his
underwear,
his
but
underwear
it's
would
flipped,
flip
the
down.
band is flipped over. So Lifeline stumbles into the break room and gets some coffee. He turns off a TV that's showing monster
They got
movies.
some nice artwork in this break room.
I know.
I mean, this is kind of like a nice break room.
It is pretty sweet.
Huge console television.
Hey, I was watching that, says Lowlight, who was watching TV indoors with his goggles
It's
on.
got like a Jackson Pollock hanging above him. Did you see that?
I'm sure it's just a print.
I don't know.
I don't think that the government would spring for Jackson Pollock.
This is GIJoe.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I would just say that I really like the voice actor who does Lowlight, especially here with his like weird, gravelly. I was watching that.
I know.
And he's just Lowlight is creepy. Lowlight's just a creepy dude.
Lowlight seems to me to be like a brother of that character on King of the Hill that smokes all the time.
Dale Griffith.
Yeah, Dale Gribble. Yeah. Seems like the same.
But he's not all weird.
Conspiracy nut.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can come with you on that journey.
Okay,
But
that's fine.
Lifeline says, he apologizes to Lowlight, and he starts to sit down and chat with him. Hey, you have nightmares.
I've read
Lowlight.
your. Well, I mean, he is the doctor, but he's like, I've read your medical file. I know you have nightmares.
Yeah. How do you deal with it? And Lowlight's like, you just make do.
Sorry, it just reminds me of an episode of Band of Brothers where Sergeant Spears is like, or Lieutenant Spears is like, you don't understand how war is easy. You just have to realize you're already dead.
Wisdom from
Wisdom.
Band of Brothers. We transition to the Cobra Terror Dome. They're in the jungle or the forest or something.
Some fucking place.
You got some stuns and motor vipers leaving the base while Serpentor and Mindbender banter.
They look like they're on Cybertron, actually.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going up. Was that were they in an elevator?
I think it was just not great background
It's a
work.
sloped floor.
Mindbender has created a machine called the Somnambulator, and things are going well. He's been transmitting nightmares into the Joe's brains.
That's the part where I put. We get a close up on Serpentor, and I'm like, his eyeline game is fantastic.
Serpentor tells Mindbender, "Stop fussing around. We need more than what you're doing. We need to enslave the Joes, not just give them scary dweems." Mindbender assures Serpentor they're gonna get there. And then we go back to the icy area where there's a Cobra base in the middle of a frozen lake. Hawk leads some Conquest X-30s to raid the base. Sci-Fi and Lady J blast with some missiles, leaving... hey, Dial Tone says, leave some of those overgrown iguanas for me.
I was going to say, and again, spoiler, now we have a giant cobra that just came out into spitting flame, but this is a dream, but I was like, I don't know if you want your general leading troops, like, into battle. That just doesn't, strategically, that doesn't seem wise.
He likes to get in the weeds.
He likes to get his hands dirty.
He doesn't do anything that he wouldn't ask somebody else to do. But also, where's Duke? Where's Flint?
Yeah, well, it's a dream.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Oh, this one is the dream. You're
Yes,
right.
this
You're
is
right.
the
You're
dream.
right. The base goes boom, and as Ryan referenced, the giant cobra returns and breathes fire at the Conquest pilots. Everyone is killed except for General Hawk. It's his fault. He's an emotional wreck. He abandons his damaged X-30 and parachutes right into the giant cobra's bottomless throat.
Again, to the voice acting work, can you capture a little bit before he bails out? Because, like, the screaming is excellent.
Pretty emotional.
Yeah.
No, they're gone, dead. It's my fault. I led them to their deaths. No, stop! Stop! Stop!
Yeah.
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's scary. I can feel the terror.
Another nightmare.
Another set of pajamas.
Hawk gets up and gets ready for work. Lady J appears with her morning report. He tells Lady J about his nightmare, and she shares her own nudity-based dream.
It's weird. I don't know why they
Do you
did
think
that.
Mindbender was in charge of that one, the pervert?
Yep. Yep.
She turns a little red when she's
She
talking
was
about
singing the national anthem, and she wasn't in her dress uniform, if you know what I mean. That's weird. That's a weird nightmare to... Yeah, Mindbender's a creep.
And then an alarm sounds. Dreadnoks. They're hijacking an oil rig.
Oh, I love the Dreadnoks so much.
Hawk and Jay join Leatherneck, Dialtone, and Sci-Fi to grab some Tomahawk helicopters and head across the sea.
The Tomahawk helicopter sound effects are so fucking awesome. Like, I can remember there was an episode, I can't remember what episode it was, but season 3 of Transformers, but they put this over Springer's helicopter mode, and the sound is really fucking good.
To all aircraft, this is Hawk. Play this one by the book. No special heroics. God.
Because they are always doing special heroics, you
Well,
see.
I think
He's paranoid.
yeah, he just doesn't want anybody to get
I
hurt.
had a bad dream, and I...
How am I doing? Turned into Mayor Koch.
So as Hawk says, we're doing this one by the book. You've got Buzzer, Ripper, Torch, and a bunch of hostages. We're at the oil rig here. The Joes approach, and the Dreadnoks ready a special weapon. It's a remote control, which they
Special
click.
weapon. It's a fucking bunch of dynamite with a timer on it.
No, it's a inflatable cobra.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, that's before. It's an inflatable cobra.
From the depths of the rig emerge a giant cobra, just like Hawk's dream. His nightmare is coming true.
It was also not clear at this point to me whether he was seeing it only or because
Right.
everyone else seems to be real
Chill.
cash about the
Yeah.
fact there's a giant inflatable cobra.
Yeah. I think it's very well made. I've
Yeah.
never seen an
It'd be funny
inflatable
if
that
it was
detailed,
just like
that
just
realistic.
blowing around,
Yeah, I
like, all
know.
cheap.
It's like
Yeah.
those things you see at car lots.
Yeah.
And we go to commercials.
We do.
So, do you think when they wear pajamas, do you think they call them pajoemas?
Yeah, absolutely, they do.
They're wearing their pajamas.
That or
They were-
there's some acronym. It's like PAJAMAS, and it
Yeah.
stands for something super sick.
Something stupid. If it were Cobra, they'd have a little insignia. Like,
Yeah.
Joe doesn't really have an insignia.
Not on their pajamas. They don't.
Or on anything.
Nope.
Let's return from commercial. And Hawk is freaking out. He's swerving and generally not answering his radio. He collects himself. He tells his people, hold back. He's got this. And he destroys the Cobra. Now, the rest of the Joes take action to rescue the rig workers. Monkey Wrench sets a bomb and then regroups with the other Dreadnoks in a submarine. The Australians dive.
You're telling me, okay, so they evacuate the rig. The Joes evacuate the rig. You're telling me that Mainframe couldn't disarm dynamite with a timer on it in 2 minutes?
I don't know, man.
I think this whole nightmare stuff is really messing up with their thinking.
Their cognitive
Yeah.
abilities. All right.
Thanks for making that excuse for them, Caleb. I feel like
I'm
that's
trying.
reasonable.
I'm just trying.
Meanwhile, the Joes hop on the rig. They discover the bomb. They untie the rig workers, slap them on some helicopters, and they depart just as the rig explodes.
I love the Cobra sub with the tower that's
It's
Cobra.
nice. Yeah, it's nice. I love the Cobra branding. They're really proud of
Absolutely.
what they do. They slap those snake symbols on there whenever they can. I was hoping that they would be the hard hats from like
Oh,
Transformers.
the Union Boys?
yeah.
Like we see Spike and
Yeah.
Sparkplug.
That'd be a great crossover. You got Sparkplug out here.
A Mindbender is stoked. He noted that General Hawk was scared of the inflatable snake.
Mm-hmm.
He'll soon plant scary thoughts in all the Joes' heads over the next
So
few
that
weeks.
doesn't even fit then. Mainframe was not having a problem.
It's weird. It feels like from this explanation, he's trying to put a specific customized
For-
scary thing in each of the Joe's heads. And I guess he does, as we'll see at the end. But from everything we've seen, it's all giant snake based.
Yeah, it's very. It's kind of one note, but he does seem to be targeting specific Joes. It's not across the board, which is maybe why Lady J was just like, "Yeah, I had a bad dream too. I was fucking tits out on the field singing the national anthem."
But as we've determined, that's just Mindbender being a pervert.
I don't like this big dumb throne that Serpentor is on.
I do like
Stupid.
it, actually.
It's stupid.
Serpentor is, let's talk about this throne. It is a giant coiled cobra
So stupid.
with
He's
its
in the
mouth
cobra's
gaping
mouth.
open.
So stupid.
I mean, if you got the money for it, why not? Donald Trump has a gold toilet.
Well, yeah, I would categorize Serpentor with Donald Trump. They're
Sure.
both dumb morons.
Sure.
So Mindbender shares his plan, but Serpentor, he can't wait weeks. He demands results now. This he commands.
I was actually, whenever I watched this, first of all, I'm like, well, this is very reasonable. You plan on weeks of torturing them, and like they will become not able to focus. But then immediately, Serpentor's like, no, days, if not hours.
Lifeline works on Hawk, and they have a chat about nightmares. Everyone's having them. He personally hasn't slept in 5 days, and frankly, he should be hallucinating right now.
Yep.
I feel like you would be unable to work at all if you hadn't slept in 5 days.
I think the record before like death and madness is like 11 days.
Thanks, Guinness. People are like, are
you're
people
saying
trying? Like, is this happening in a lab?
No.
Testing
There
people
is.
out?
I have this later. There's a medical condition.
So people aren't trying to like, I'll beat that.
That would be some Mengele shit where it's like, let's just keep this guy away, or maybe they did in Guantanamo
I'm
Bay.
sure the
know.
Nazis have data on this.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
Hawk is scared because he screwed up in action. He'd never forgive himself if his mistakes injured somebody else. But I don't see how he screwed up in action, other than he was
froze for a
fooled by
second.
the snake.
He froze for a second, but he came. He got it back together. But
Yeah,
like a
very
second
quickly.
can be
Sure.
life and death, and
When you got
and
lasers
combat.
firing and giant snakes coming at you. We go to a drive-in movie.
This is, yeah.
Iceberg and his lady Mahia are watching a sci-fi
She has a
monster
name?
movie.
Mhm.
I did some research.
Oh,
She must be. Is she like?
because I was gonna say, like, who is this person
Is she
who
Jamaican?
also calls him by his code name?
I've got more on her later, Ryan.
Awesome.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
worry.
Cool.
She struck me as someone that's like Jamaican or something.
She is Jamaican.
Cool, man. All right.
Iceberg and his lady Mahia watch a sci-fi monster movie. Iceberg passes out, slamming his head on his car horn. It's nightmare time. In his dream, Iceberg is skiing at a high speed, but then almost slams into a brick wall, which disappears. And then the giant cobra appears. It fires flames at Icy, who falls through the ground into the freezing water below. The snake then swims toward him, ready to devour him. Ag! Iceberg awakens from the dream, comforted by his gal pal.
Good on her.
Glad she wasn't
I feel
like,
like
you're a
that's-
pussy, Iceberg.
I was gonna say that's the minimum a partner could do, like is comfort someone.
You had a nightmare? You jerk off?
I just said she did. I just said good on her. She breaks up with him immediately.
Then we get to the gym.
Did they have matching outfits in the gym,
That's right.
or as they call it, the Joem?
Nice
Oh,
try.
no. I'm not gonna give you that one.
I'm trying to help them out with some branding stuff because
Yeah.
So the Joes are exhausted. I feel like what they need is, speaking of Nazis, they need some benzodrine, like some meth,
yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
or a lucid dreaming coach.
Hawk hits the gym.
Nothing on that one. Okay.
Nope.
Well, I feel like lucid dreaming that makes you control. You're able to control your dreams, which is kind of what we get later.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let it blossom, Ryan.
Fuck no! I want to spoil everything.
Hawkeye hits the gym and he sort of berates the teams. Work out harder. Sci-Fi is tired as hell. His get up and go has get up and gone or whatever. Hawk tries the old gym class rope climb, but then it turns into a snake.
I love that he's climbing in a leather jacket and full gear too.
Yeah, why isn't he wearing the Joe issued gym clothes? He wakes up in his office. He, being Hawk, wakes up in his office distraught over another lousy nightmare.
This is where I have the point of like the record for staying awake is like 11 days because it is a condition. We don't really understand why, but we have to sleep and reach REM. And my theory here is they're not reaching real REM. Their Mindbender is falsifying it, I suppose. There's a condition where you can't sleep called fatal familial insomnia, a genetic degenerative brain disorder that can be fatal. And drugs to make you sleep don't work because they interfere with normal sleep ability to get to REM. And it's degenerative, which means it gets worse over time. And eventually it kills you.
There was that Star Trek The Next Generation episode where they couldn't sleep, right? They were having problems.
Yes, that was... Was that the one with Counselor Troy? That was the one with Counselor Troy where she was... there was somebody who was contacting her and through a binary star system, I believe.
It was preventing them from sleeping.
Yes.
And they were losing their minds.
Yes.
Man, all these shows just rip off each other's plots.
Or we have 5 stories to tell.
Is that like some storytelling?
Yeah, it's a theory.
Philosophy.
So there's only like 5-7 stories.
There's the famous I'm not sleeping story. and neither is anyone else.
Aesop's Fables.
It's been passed down from the Greeks to the Romans to us here today.
Just can't sleep.
We're in Hawk's office. He has woke up. He's distraught. Lifeline comes in. He's got some coffee. What are we going to do about these damn nightmares? I don't know. Not sleep, I guess. GIJoe, Caleb, and Ryan, they're falling apart.
Yes.
This is too much.
It is. He just can't. It's the plan is working. The Cobra's plan is definitely working.
Have you guys ever had insomnia?
I had some trauma. My grandfather died in the late 80s, and I went through a period over a few months where I was restless, and it took me forever to go to sleep, to the point where then I had anxiety about going to bed, thinking that I got anxiety about not being able to fall asleep. So then, unfortunately, that anxiety of not being able to go to sleep would then manifest me not being able to go to sleep. You know what I mean? You guys following me?
I'm following you.
And so, thanks, Ryan. So I don't know if that is considered insomnia, but that was a period of time where I had problems sleeping.
I think that's pretty classical insomnia. I've had it as well, where because sometimes it's not so bad anymore, but I used to have hypnic jerks, and I still have them occasionally, which is where as you're falling, it's how when you fall asleep, like a leg or an arm will. Mm-hmm. I had that where it would happen for like hours, and it would prevent me from falling asleep. And then, of course, when you read online, they're like, "Just don't worry about it." And it's like, oh, okay,
yeah, right.
That's really helpful because
just don't have the problem.
Yeah, they're like worrying about it makes it worse. And I'm like, well, that's really. They're like, and also there's no real cure for it. People just have it, and I'm like, great.
Sometimes when I do have problems going to sleep, even though I'm tired, there'll be I'll go through a period on nights that are bad where I'll start falling into sleep and I'll hit a certain point, and then some kind of weird fear thing kicks in really hard, and it pulls me back out of that falling into sleep. So then then I'm awake again, and so there's some weird different types of that, like where I'm like, oh, I was almost asleep, but then something kicked me back awake. There was just this weird fear.
Yeah,
which I'm sure is like instinctual. Somehow it's an instinct of like keeping you awake to keep yourself alive.
The theory of hypnic
even though
jerks,
rationally, you're fine.
Right.
The theory of hypnic jerks is that it's a holdover from whenever we lived in trees and clung to our mothers, and like if you felt falling, you would like seize, grab something.
That's interesting. I do experience that. I guess everybody experiences that. But I have one or two a night, but they don't wake. It's usually as I'm falling asleep. Is that what you're saying? Like you're not woken up from it. You're starting to go to sleep,
and then
it jerks you awake. Yeah. I don't know if the clinical definition of insomnia is that it's frequent over time, like it has some kind of like multi-night thing.
Oh, like it has to last for a certain period,
right? Or if it's just one night of not sleeping can count as insomnia. But I at least once a month I'll have a couple of days where I don't sleep, but I take melatonin now every night, and it is amazing.
I take it too.
And I sleep very well on melatonin. I generally don't wake up.
You know what's really good is if you take melatonin and an edible and like a fifth of whiskey, you will sleep real good.
So I'm gonna start a punk band and call it the Hypnic Jerks. Be good stuff.
That is a good name.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't believe that isn't already taken.
Right.
But
I find that if I exercise before I go to bed, it really works out all the physical. It helps. But I don't exercise very much, so I need to. I'd sleep better.
West is taking up Olympic weightlifting.
No shit.
She's going to a gym near here where like she has a trainer that is she's doing like
shit
clean and jerks and stuff.
Nice.
She's getting ready for the revolution.
It will be televised.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning, 3:45, we'll say.
Yeah, it's the witching hour,
and Mainframe is kicking it in AOL chat rooms while other Joes are failing to reach REM status. We see Leatherneck and Wetsuit playing poker. Eventually,
I do like how... what is his name?
Quick
Kick. His karate chopping his pillow to try to get it to Tinder to go
feels
sleep.
Culturally insensitive.
A little bit.
I mean, if a guy likes martial arts, maybe anybody would be that way. But we have Leatherneck and Wetsuit playing poker, and they accuse each other of cheating, which leads to a brawl. Wetsuit crashes into Cross Country, who's repairing a Havoc, so Cross Country punches him in the face. Eventually, Lowlight steps in and breaks up the fight.
Oh.
Maybe that's what... Do you think he was referring to this episode, The Unknown Patron?
Okay.
Maybe I got confused.
We're at 22 minutes and 21 seconds in, and this is the Sunbow wrist grab.
But again, I would submit that this is a reasonable one in the same way where Springer grabs RC's wrist in the movie. Like this is not like...
So that it is
Sunbow wrist grabs have to be modestly sexist in origin?
I think so.
I agree. Right. So it is a wrist grab, but it doesn't fit the Sunbow wrist grab
definition that we've made up.
Right.
It's ours. We can say whatever
having not seen the My Little Pony movie, I know we referenced that a lot. I don't know if that hoof grab is
that's true.
Technically fits the definition.
We were just trying to make content.
Yeah.
That's right. We've evolved since those days.
There's got to be in the GIJoe series. There's got to be.
Well, we found it in the movie.
Yeah.
With
that one
dickhead, Don Johnson. And
Yep. Falcon.
And Jinx.
Falcon and Jinx.
That was a serious Sunbow wrist grab.
Hey, baby, why don't you come over to my apartment? That's not what he said, but that was the vibe Falcon was given.
Spanks from me.
So Lowlight breaks things up, and then he walks away, and he notes to himself that the other Joes just can't handle the lack of sleep like he can. He finds a single lonely tree, sits underneath it, and drifts away.
Again, I will say there is... I feel like it does do a good job of real issues with insomnia, where tiredness, inability to focus, irritability, that kind of thing. And then, boy, here we go.
It's interesting he can handle it because he has the freakiest dreams of all.
I think he's just
people.
Used to it.
It's going to Trauma Town.
And it's not just that the dream itself is nightmarish. It deals with childhood trauma and bad parental relationships.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
He is it's a spooky alien.
Again, this episode is heavy.
Cars.
It's a junkyard landscape, but the rusty cars have these demonic faces in their grills. The headlights flash on as Lowlight's dad berates him for being a coward. His dad commands him to kill 20 rats in the dark, Cooper.
Yeah, he said he was ashamed of him and thought he was weak. His father thought he was weak.
Yeah, bad news. We're getting to the root of his problems here.
And this is... So, at the end of this dream sequence, he's defying his father. He's saying, fuck you, Dad, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm stronger than you. And this is what I'm saying. There's no force in the universe stronger than spite. Like, Lowlight is able to resist because he's not going to let his piece of shit father be right.
Right.
Like, fuck you, Mom or Dad is very powerful. But you should also maybe get some therapy.
Yeah.
Which is a good time to cut to our BetterHelp ad.
Which is non-existent.
No.
I think we
for
should.
this
Hopefully it
episode.
is, because that would be the most appropriate segue ever for that.
I was talking about this to Wes the other night when we were watching a video on mental health, and there, to some extent, our generation in this room, X, it deals more a little bit with that, and the millennials and Gen Z are very comfortable with the idea that we all need therapy. Like, just for example, there was a story of a woman talking about, like, going to therapy and learning these skills, and now, like, talking to her parents is frustrating. It's like talking to a child because her mom is, like, reactionary and quick to ad hominem attacks and just won't engage.
And just not at the highest level of Maslow's hierarchy.
I mean, the goal... Maslow's hierarchy is horseshit.
I'm just saying self-awareness is not a characteristic of some people.
Right. And so, I mean, the goal is, like, I guess, to be more... take care of yourself and be more self-aware and just, like, be better than your parents.
It's true.
It just wasn't valued.
Try to
before.
stop generational trauma.
Exactly.
Well, and not just, I mean, it was seen as a thing that only women did. And I've been rewatching Mad Men lately, and, you know, Betty in the early seasons goes to a shrink, and it's a whole thing where, you know, men don't go to shrinks, women do, because they have emotional and psychological problems. Men don't. Men just bear through their problems.
I just came back from war, and I'm not
Fine.
terrorized by it every night.
Right.
And also in that, like, the therapist talks to Dawn about Betty's therapy.
I feel like I don't know if therapists are bound by HIPAA. There's probably some code of ethics that they have to deal with. But yeah, he's totally calling Dawn and be like, "Here's what she talked about." That's pretty
Look
fucked
at
up.
this daffy broad.
Yeah. We visit Mindbender and Serpentor, who are spying on Lowlight's dream. It appears that Lowlight is resisting, so Serpentor commands the doctor to increase the dosage. Dosage of what? I don't know. Wacky dream vibes. In his dream, the demonic cars come to life and chase Lowlight as we go to commercial.
I mean, speaking of toxic relationships, Serpentor is just like, no, you do it tonight. I want results now.
What a moron.
Caleb hates Serpentor. I kind of got ahead of it because this is the part where, like, at the end, he's
like,
where
he takes control.
Screw you, Dad.
Screw you, Dad.
Despite the enhanced nightmare vibes, Lowlight fires on the cars, who then morph into slithering cobras. It comes back to cobras. Lowlight's gonna
He really only has one like artistic note, Mindbender. It's just, what about really
it's
big
cobras and you're naked, hot
You're
lady.
naked.
That's it.
He's like, Scarlet, does the carpet match the curtains?
But the other thing is that was interesting about this sequence, despite the cars and the cobras, Lowlight is like, I'm gonna get those rats. Still, the rats are here, or they're not here. We don't see rats yet, but he's gonna go kill them. Here's the deal: Lowlight is tougher than anything that this dream can throw at him. He is a Joe, and nothing stops a GI Joe.
Right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
He really does
Damn
have
straight.
he has a handle on this.
He does.
In a way that none of the other Joes do. Although I
Because
don't feel
he has
like he's aiming that rifle
Horrible
well.
childhood trauma that it's just like, this is nothing compared to what my father did to me.
Right. Yeah, I'll take on flaming cobras all day long. But my dad calling me a pussy?
I would
man.
also just assume he got beat.
Cobra, they just cannot break Lowlight, who he's just shooting cobras in the face. And he wins. He gets on top of a stack of cars. What do you think of your cowardly son now,
Exactly.
Dad?
That's where I'm like, fuck you, Dad. Like, You're not the boss of me.
By the way, the Joe base, that's the most brilliant, amazing sky that I've ever like.
Oh yeah,
It's a nice sunset.
very
like-
detailed.
Or
like
I guess it's sunrise.
Are they in heaven?
It looks like the Voltron castle.
A little bit.
If you remember that. The next morning,
If you want to pay us to watch Voltron.
Yeah, I'll do Voltron for Dotron. Help me out here, guys.
Let me just work on it for a while.
All right.
I'll blurt it out.
I'm
here.
sure in the notorious APDC text thread we'll have
I'll
several
be like, ooh, I got it.
Basketball Diaries references. You guys figure out what that could mean.
Oof. Yeah. Why?
Lowlight, he bursts into the Joe break room. He's beaming. He had some great sleep last night, fought some snakes and beat their ass. Snakes. All the other Joes have been dreaming about snakes too. How could that be? Only Cobra must be behind this craziness.
I just imagine Lady J is always naked fighting the snakes.
She's like, yeah, I've been having snake dreams.
Oh, no. Oh, God. What if it's tentacle porn?
No, I just meant to say there's been no snakes in her dreams. Her dreams are... Oh, in fact, later on when we go into the dream world, I was kind of wondering if whenever they got to Lady J, she would just be naked or be in like some
In
like
a bikini or something?
yeah, exactly, because
Singing the national anthem.
right. That doesn't happen.
No.
Spoilers. Lowlight, it's clear he's got more of a handle on this situation than everybody else. And General Hawk recognizes that Lowlight is used to nightmares. He's able to successfully fight back. So we got to get Lifeline over here, and he is recruited to help stop the Cobra scheme.
Lowlight is great at repression. Let's use his brain.
He's not really repressing, though. Maybe he's repressing in his awake life, and he's dealing with it in
Oh, I
his
got
dream
it.
life.
I got it.
New throne.
Juan for Tron.
Okay.
All right, we'll take it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's better than anything else.
You give me something better.
The only problem with that one is, well, I mean, I guess we've set up the context. It's Voltron.
Yeah.
But since Tron is its own thing, it confused me for a second.
Well, maybe we can also do Tron.
The movie?
Juan for Tron. There it is.
That's an excellent film. I also, controversially, like the sequel, which many people did not, and I enjoyed it a great deal.
The soundtrack for the sequel is amazing.
It is very good, yes.
Is that Justice?
No, it's Daft Punk.
Oh, it's Daft Punk. That's right. Yeah. What is a word for everything? Or what's a word for money that rhymes with everything?
I don't know if
can't-
there is one.
Everything. A little ching-a-ling.
For everything.
Yeah.
Keep working
I'll
on that
work
one.
on it. Anyway, sorry.
Serpentor. Mindbender. Having a kiki. We've got a new throne. There's
I
so
know.
many thrones.
Like, this is his casual throne
Yeah.
room. It's not the one where he sits in the mouth of the cobra.
Yeah.
Mindbender assures Serpentor the machine will break all the Joes in just a few days, but Serpentor, he doesn't want days. He needs results tonight. Serpentor orders Mindbender, enter the Joe's dreams. And Mindbender is all like, well, it might hurt all the progress. And Serpentor says, this I command. So you know there's no negotiation at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Serpentor is very hands-on. He could fake it. Like, Mindbender could be like, I tried it.
Yeah,
Didn't
maybe.
work.
Maybe they all will Serpentor murder them if they show low progress.
I guess maybe there's probably some security cameras.
And I'm sure Serpentor's watching those.
It's a dangerous process what Mindbender is doing here, but we got to get rid of these Joes. He hooks himself up to a table in his lab and works his twisted dream science.
Mm-hmm. It's so dangerous. That's my mind.
The drawings are so good.
They are. Like, the animation and the close-ups are really...
It can't be ACOM. It's just not.
Oh, no, I don't think ACOM was involved with GIJoe at all, as far as I could... Well, a little I could learn, but...
I wish whoever did these was involved in Transformers, because I assumed it was maybe Toei, but...
I thought too, but I couldn't... No, I couldn't find any correlation.
Back to our GIJoe the movie days, did we ever talk about it then? Was there any Toei involved?
I don't have that information off the top of my head.
I know I mispronounce it. Squid King.
You just pronounce it like a Canadian. Toei.
Joe HQ. All the Joes are hooked up to an EKG machine that will allow Lifeline to monitor them. They will route all the Joes' nightmares through low light, which will allow him to fight their battles for them.
Speaking of which, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before, but I really like Low Light's hockey hair. He has like a kind of a
little mullet?
He has like a
Curl.
curly mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho,
Kenny Powers. Low light descends into the dreamy ether.
Nice.
this looks like you're going through a fucking cervix.
Gross, Ryan.
Yep,
Gross and...
unnecessary.
There is an icy landscape. Low light isn't here, though, because this is his dream. But all the other Joes are. There is an ice bridge that collapses, and everybody, including General Hawk, is in a state of panic. Each Joe has a different traumatic event. Iceberg is hanging from a falling arch. Dial Tone loses his voice. Mainframe morphs
Turns into
a robot.
fucking robot.
Yeah, that one's terrifying.
Yeah, that one's weird.
Both he and Dial Tone have a weird vocal thing that goes with theirs, and it is creepy as hell. Lady J is whisked away by a robust wind. Maybe her clothes were whisked away by a robust wind in her other dreams. And Hawk is just scared to fail his team, but he eventually realizes that Joes trust him. He saves Iceberg, regroups with the other soldiers, and then the giant snake arises from the ice. But they know that snake isn't real. They can fight back. All right.
Yeah,
Nothing to say about that.
Well, the point is like they link hands, and I mean, it, not for nothing, it really is the power of friendship. I'm not even being sarcastic. That's basically what it is. Working together. I mean, it's just like us, isn't it, boys?
It sure is.
Like
Let's link hands.
I would imagine that none of us could do this show on our own.
No.
How boring would that be?
We are
for
holding
yourself.
our hands right now.
It's true.
Okay, let go of my hands.
Oh, yeah, probably enough.
All right. Well, I was wondering if it would ever feel uncomfortable. Then Mindbender emerges from the ice. He's hundreds of feet tall, consumed in flames.
Basically, the guy.
Wizard of Oz.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz.
The wizard.
He specifically, not the Tin Man.
Nope.
He also spits flames from his mouth and screams a lot, but the Joes stand in a circle, holding hands, don't let go. This is the only way they can win, is to stay together,
Yeah.
like the Autopod Decepticast. And then Lowlight appears.
I will tell you this. When Low Light showed up, I was like, just when I thought this episode could not get better, he comes in with fucking battle rat cars.
Battle rat cars.
Signifying how he's taken control
That's right.
of his dream. Honestly, it is an awesome, because we never see rats, which I think is a cool touch to bring them in now. It's like he's conquered the car part, and now he's also conquered that. Maybe he had to go deal with the rats before he showed up here.
He's riding on top of them.
I was going to say, can you capture, like, specifically I'm looking for the part where, around 2030, but just can you just capture some?
You call this a nightmare? Lowlight! I'll show you the stuff that nightmares are really made of, Mindbender! What's going on? This is from Lowlight's dreams. He's controlling them now. No way! Your dreams are powerless! I'm in control! Now, welcome to my nightmare!
That's intense, man.
It really is.
Welcome to my nightmare.
I don't
bitch.
remember any Transformers episode that had that level of intensity. Honestly.
It's true.
When he's Welcome to My Nightmare is also an Alice Cooper album.
The Alice Cooper should be a GIJoe character.
Yeah, I agree. As a young child watching this, I'm sure, I mean, if you were internalizing it and if you're having trauma, this was probably a very interesting episode to watch.
Yeah, I noted that in later for Rate the Scheme. But I feel like this is a great episode because that's like the one thing that children can identify with is nightmares. They haven't had, hopefully, in most cases, that many real-life traumatic events, but they still have nightmares. And so I could see how a kid could really kind of feel empowered by this episode. Lowlight appears. The rats, he's accompanied by a fleet of demon car rats who he sends into battle against the snakes. He then grows and grows and grows. Welcome to my nightmare, Mindbender.
That's right.
He ultimately slams a giant slab of ice into Mindbender's face, which causes Mindbender to awake in real life. Mindbender rises from his science bed.
Science bed, yes.
And runs to a control room and just blasts it with his pistol.
What he says is, I must destroy this evil machine.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
You built it.
It's so weird.
So the machine is destroyed. It's morning. All the Joes are feeling refreshed.
It's like Inception.
Is the nightmare over? Thanks to Lowlight, they are. Hawk walks to Lowlight's bed, but he sleep. Lifeline's
Your
like,
friend, he sleeps.
Lifeline's like, let the brother rest. So they leave him, and as Lifeline sleeps, we see a giant grin creep across his chiseled jawline. Or should I say, Joe line.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's the end of the episode. Thanks, Wally Burr, for all these great vocal performances. So, like, just by limited sample size, I feel like Joe was
You mean
way
a
better
sample
than
size of 2?
Oh yeah. I think like Joe was way better than Transformers.
These 2 were.
We've been wasting our fucking
but
lives.
also, these were cherry picked, so I don't know.
But animation,
The animation is very good.
generally like reasonable, like interesting, but yet fleshed out
Yes.
storyline and
Yes.
and scheme.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, we're on the same page.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's why I'm
Caleb's
so.
like, very excited.
Well, that's why I'm perplexed. Why, due to that, and I understood these are cherry picked, so we may need to watch some more. But
please commission us for some bad ones next time.
There's not a bigger presence like there is TF Wiki. TF Wiki is awesome. It's interesting. It's interesting that it's not that the Joe doesn't match that.
I would argue. Speaking of Beast Wars, that was one thing that reinvigorated the series. And Phil and Dilly would say one thing that made Transformers so sticky was killing Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And that was released in theaters, where the Joe episode was, the Joe movie was not. Yeah. And there have been so many more Transformers iterations than Joe.
Yeah, you're right.
There have been a lot of Joe iterations.
Those are good points.
I'm guessing ultimately, I mean, clearly GIJoe doesn't have the online fandom to sort of keep things moving, and I say that just based on they don't have a wiki that's as robust as the TF wiki
or conventions.
But then again, they're just whatever. Their biggest fans aren't as passionate as the Transformers' biggest fans, like a Chris McFeely who's responsible for, and everybody else who's involved with the TF wiki. Like, I mean, it is dense, and Joe's wiki is not, from what I can tell. Not to put it down, it just isn't.
No, but we already admitted that these seem to be superior to these episodes that we've seen are superior to Transformers.
I could put them up against the top
best ones.
Transformers episodes.
Yeah,
honestly.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. There might be some like the Games Master that I like better. But in terms of quality, yes.
Yeah. And so listeners, if you want us to flesh this out a little bit more, kind of get to the bottom of this, give us some dough.
If one person would give us $1 million, we'll cover season 1 of GIJoe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the price. Because I don't care about Joe at all.
I care more about Joe just having gone through this, because I just realized
there were good episodes, but I still don't give a shit.
These two are actually pretty legit. All right, a few fun details. Let's talk about Iceberg's date, Mahia.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is her second appearance in the show. She appears in the episode Iceberg Goes South. She is the niece of Dr. Wendigos, who is working with Dr. Mindbender to perform Moreau-style animal-human hybrid genetic experiments. And Iceberg, in that episode, is transformed into a killer whale. So now
Whoa.
you know all about
I wonder if
Magia.
I wonder if Wendigos is a reference to the Wendigo.
It is totally
Yeah,
a
okay.
reference to that.
I guess that's obvious.
As far as Transformers alumni in this episode, we have Jack Angel as Wetsuit. Arthur Burghardt is Iceberg. Chris Latta is Ripper. Dick Gautier is Serpentor.
I thought that was I thought
Ed Gilbert is General Hawk. You have Michael McConaughey as Cross Country. Neil Ross is Buzzer, who did not really have much of a role in this. And Frank Welker maybe had one or two lines as Torch. And then, of course, Ryan, you alluded to this a little earlier, so if you have more to expand on, Charlie Adler is Lowlight, the star of the episode, between him and Lifeline, and a little Iceberg. Sorry if I put you on the spot. I thought you brought it up, so I assumed you...
No, I don't have any more.
Okay, all right. Well, we might as well touch on Charlie Adler. We've talked about him before. American voice actor, voice director. He did Buster Bunny in Tiny Toon Adventures, Lowlight on GIJoe, on different GIJoe franchises. He's also done Cobra Commander, Flint, Stalker, and Gung Ho. As far as the Transformers universe goes, he did Dirk Manus from Money Is Everything. We remember that. Scalawag.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that long ago. Duros, who I don't remember who the hell that is. Nula from The Ultimate Weapon. Quintesson number 4 from the big broadcast of 2006. As well as Silverbolt, and as we will see when we get into Season 4, he also voiced Trigger Happy.
Cool.
And I'm guessing Vorath. He also did Vorath. I'm guessing that's, one of the Nebulons. Yep, confirmed.
In the real world.
All right, Nightmare Assault, October 30th, 1986, in the American Top 40. True Colors by Cyndi Lauper is number 1 on the charts right now. Which
I remember covering that.
Yep.
That's
Do you?
Sweet tune. I do.
Okay. So let's go with number 7 on the 1986 Billboard Top 100 Singles for the year. Eddie Murphy's classic hit, Party All the Time.
I can't believe we haven't covered this.
I know.
Seriously, I would have sworn we've talked about this song. It's an interesting one.
If I were to ask you to guess who produced this album, what would you say?
I'd say Rick James.
Rick James.
You're both correct.
We-
because you said the
High
same
five.
Well, we've seen the video, but we've seen the video. Like
I don't remember if Rick
The
James is
video.
in the video.
go
or
to
not.
Party All the Time video
I haven't seen the video.
right now
Here, I'll keep it on mute.
and watch.
Is Rick James partying with Eddie Murphy in the video?
Just check it out.
It's a very Rick James song.
Absolutely. Push play.
Go on,
it.
Ryan. Sorry.
Rick James wrote the song, provided backup vocals, and it was recorded in his home studio. Making his second appearance in this segment in as many episodes, Party All the Time was the lead single from actor Eddie Murphy's debut album, How Could It Be?, and reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks behind Lionel Richie's Say You, Say Me.
It's literally.
I'm going to need
It's
you
this-
guys to stop watching this. or
this
you're not
video-
gonna listen to me at all.
I'm just
I'm
saying
listening
the
to
video
you.
is literally Eddie
It's
Murphy.
just Rick James and Eddie Murphy
in
partying.
in the studio. All right, so there you go.
So you'll understand more, like the story, because the story behind this nonsense, I guess a fun song, is rich, entitled, and stupid. Murphy said that the song was made based on a $100,000 bet between himself and Richard Pryor, wagering whether or not Eddie had any singing talent. And I don't know who won, because it was a successful single, but the answer is no. And if you wonder if Eddie Murphy ever knew Richard Pryor, just wait a few minutes, because he'll tell you that he knew Richard Pryor.
I mean, I feel like knowing Richard Pryor is comedy credibility.
I would agree. I mean,
He's
Harlem Nights.
He's the
It was-
the comedy Rushmore, as they say.
I mean, Eddie Murphy basically. I'm saying this, making a lot of assumptions, but Harlem Nights seems to be a movie dedicated to who Eddie Murphy knows in the black comedy community.
Oh yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah, I
got
like
Della
that movie,
Reese.
though.
You got Red
it's-
Fox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got Arsenio Hall, the greatest black comedian of all time.
Hey man, I like Arsenio.
I'm just kidding. I like
Arsenio
I like
Hall.
Arsenio.
What are you talking about?
That wasn't a shot fired, really. I mean, he's just the lower tier
Yeah, it's-
of all the people I just mentioned.
Well, there ain't no Selma here, man.
Yeah,
Ain't no fucking Selma.
Bitch don't live here.
The song was widely panned, with one critic calling Murphy's vocals, quote, paper thin, buried in the mix, and he added nothing but his ego to it, which I think is completely fair.
It's that's accurate. And I think
I only know of this song because of the short bit it's played in the movie Three Kings. I'd never heard it before.
Oh, really? Wow.
I've heard it, and I think Eddie Murphy would admit to what this is.
It's a 100% vanity project.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty funny because in the movie Three Kings, Mark Wahlberg's character says you shouldn't listen to this; it's bad music. Which it's debatable whether Mark Wahlberg's music is any
That's
good.
ironic right there.
I feel like I've been really hard on Eddie Murphy when he's come up on this podcast, and I just want to say I don't dislike his work. He just seems like a personally very irritating and arrogant human being.
I've heard him interviewed. The interviews went really well. He did not come across as an arrogant person. He seemed to be self-deprecating and aware of himself.
Maybe I'm just thinking of 80s Eddie Murphy.
I'm
God
sure
damn.
80s Eddie Murphy was probably a pain in the ass.
He got on Saturday Night Live when he was like 17 years old. That's insane. So it's
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to be a huge ego boost right there.
I'm Gumby. There's a lot of jokes about he should go back to playing Gumby,
I'm
which
Gumby,
I'm like,
damn
oh, all right. From this song, like critics were like, you should stick to Gumby.
How old was he when he made this song?
It was 86, so I don't know.
He would have been in his 20s, mid-20s. But that being said, the song was a hit, right?
Yeah,
He was 24.
it reached number 7 on the Hot Singles 100.
Yeah. So it made money.
It did make money
We're talking about it now.
because everyone with money was behind it, like it was Eddie Murphy. So, number 1 at the box office. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. That motherfucker Crocodile Dundee is back on the escalator again. So let's do a film that I like, The Color of Money. You guys know this movie?
Oh, yeah. That's got to be one of the longer gaps between original movie and
sequels. Yeah. I know there's others because we love making sequels to old movies.
Well,
now,
we
but-
talked about we talked about Tron, but that could be one of
Yeah.
them. But
Yeah.
also Blade Runner.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sequel to Blade Runner.
I haven't either. I've heard
I
it's
have.
pretty good.
It's good.
Okay. Go see Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, it holds up.
And this is a good sequel to a film I love, 1961's The Hustler, which has Paul Newman, and this movie has Paul Newman reprising his role as pool sharp Fast Eddie Felson. Both movies are based on novels by Walter Tevis. This movie, Color of Money, was directed by Martin Scorsese. Pool hustler Fast Eddie Felson finds the young, promising pool player Vincent, played by Tom Cruise, in a local bar and sees him in a younger version of himself. To try and make it as in the old days, Eddie offers to teach Vincent how to be a hustler. After some hesitation, Vincent accepts, and Eddie takes him and Vincent's girlfriend Carmen, played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantino, on a tour through the country to work the pool halls. God, I don't know why that was so awkward.
Halls.
The pool halls.
I like the way you said it.
I'm down with it.
However, Vincent's tendency to show off his talent by basically warns off the other players, and they're losing money, and soon it leads to a confrontation with Eddie. This film garnered positive critical reviews, though everyone loves to say it wasn't as good as The Hustler, which, no fucking duh.
Did Martin Scorsese direct The Hustler?
No.
Okay.
I just remember the person who directed it, but it was not Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese would have been very young. And that came
1961?
out. Yeah.
For the record, Robert Rosen.
Okay.
Not setting certain expectations on sequels. I don't know why people do that. Like I saw a post the other day where someone's like, they commented on how disappointing Saw 10 was.
You've mentioned this before.
And it's just like, are you fucking kidding? Like, yeah, it's what are you doing?
I could see if it's been from 1960.
I don't
or what year did The Hustler come out?
61
to 1980, whatever. Putting those kinds of expectations,
86.
and if it's not like a 10 sequel series.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I would say, like, why do you have to? It's a completely different animal. Like,
yeah.
It's just the same character who has lived 30 extra years. So,
yeah.
Also, I don't know that the movie is any worse than The Hustler. I mean, The Hustler had, like, Tom Cruise is. I really like Tom Cruise's acting work. Tom Cruise is good in this movie, but like in The Hustler, you had like George C. Scott, you had Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie. It's a different beast entirely.
It's a different type of acting, like
even aesthetically. Like,
right?
Yeah, no, totally. I would agree that probably the original one, by most criteria, is better, but yeah, it's.
I wonder if Saul Bass did the opening sequence here. This looks like a Saul Bass opening sequence. West Side Story, famous graphic designer reference. Shout out to Captain Alexis. He'll be with me on this.
Let us know. But this movie, Color of Money, was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, and Paul Newman won his first Best Actor award for the film.
Far out. He should have won way before that.
Highest possible recommendation for this movie and the original. They're more like character study films than they are about sports or pool.
Mm-hmm.
The movie did very well at the box office, earning $52.3 million on a $14.5 million budget. And if you were wondering about his own stunts, Tom Cruise did do his own trick shots for the film, with the exception of one shot where he had to jump 2 balls to sink another, which would have taken several days and a couple $1,000s in delays to learn. So that shot was done by professional pool players Andrew Giatsides and Michael Siegel. And technically that jump shot was illegal, even though it looks cool, but in a real game it would have immediately made him forfeit the game. So
Why is it illegal?
I don't have those figures.
I don't know.
I just don't think you can intentionally jump balls like that.
Pool players of the APDC, let us know.
Auto pool.
I believe in this one. He was playing against Eddie Felson, and Eddie would have automatically won that game because he did an illegal shot. That Vincent did an illegal shot. That's the real word.
It's been a while, but it's been a while. But I think I saw that movie at the house we all lived in, where I shit on the floor.
That from now on, that's how it will be known.
And then I think I saw The Hustler with Chad.
Fucking Quaker. Pacifist Quaker.
Jet, you're a Quaker.
Jet, you're a sawed-off little fuck, aren't
Mix
you?
some oatmeal, Jet. Another reference nobody would get except one person who I am sure does
not like that impression.
Does not listen to this podcast.
Oh.
Never hear it. Hopefully
You're Dundee tweet.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully the Nazi that listens. Hopefully the Nazi we mentioned in the last episode doesn't
he's the one who's going to come after my host.
Yeah. Well, you had my interest on that one. I love that movie.
As opposed to every
Paul
other
Newman's
movie
just
I've
great.
talked about.
Yeah, most of them are pretty. You don't care.
I'm
about.
Aaron just what you can't see, audience, is whenever I do the real world, Aaron's just doing the jerk off motion slowly next to me in the chair.
Paul Newman is one of my favorite actors.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I don't think that's a controversial statement.
No, it isn't. But he's also just a beautiful person.
Excellent salad dressing.
Yeah,
all goes to charity.
It's true.
All right. Well, then, what's up in
Script deviations.
Did you find anything tasty?
I got Okay, so script deviations. Similarly, in some ways, to the Transformers Season 3 episode Nightmare Planet, where the Quintessons use Daniel's brain in dreams to torment the Cybertronians, only in this it's much more coherent and makes a lot more sense. This episode was written by...
That was a bad Transformers episode.
It was not good, no. Although, I think it was more the studio that animated it that made it worse, because Beth Bornstein was a really good Transformers writer.
Okay.
This episode of GIJoe was written by Marv Wolfman, who also wrote the Sunbow Joe episode Lasers in the Night, and co-wrote A Message from the Deep for the divisive Deke series. In a fun bit of synchronicity, you may remember Marv Wolfman as the co-creator of The Return of Optimus Prime, Part 1 and 2. He wrote a lot for comics, known for Tomb of Dracula, Blade, The New Teen Titans, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and also co-created Deathstroke, Cyborg, Raven, Starfire, Blade, Black Cat. You know what? Just go back and listen to our Return episodes if you want us to cover him in detail. Here's a little trivia. During Lowlight's Nightmare, where he's dodging Cobra Flame Breath, the sound editors used archive of Peter Cullen grunting.
To create the grunt noise or the fire?
What?
I don't know. Maybe they
Trying to wrap my
modified
head
it.
around that.
You know how fire sounds like someone having an orgasm?
It's like, oh, there's something to that Peter Cullen noise.
I'm burning. I'm a fire.
Fire.
All right. Moving on.
This episode references Lowlight's origin as read in his entry in the Odor of Battle comics, apparently. That's script deviation.
Does that mean this is the first Lowlight focus episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's information I could get. I could not find any more information. I don't know.
Thanks for trying.
I am not about to put any effort into enhancing the GIJoe wiki. At all.
No.
Why would you?
We're not
Personally.
and we don't expect you to.
Thanks.
No one is asking you to do that, Aaron.
But what I am doing is asking the community to do that if they want us to keep doing this.
Or
I don't. So many like roadblocks here. Like, if you give us money, we'll do our best.
or I guess we'll take a vote.
Yeah. I vote no.
God damn it!
Let's get let's,
Give us some dough.
rate the scheme.
The scheme. Dr. Mindbender's scheme is it's pretty solid. I mean, driving them crazy with dreams, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It almost worked, except for Lowlight's a freak.
I think it would have worked, except Serpentor fucked it all up.
Yeah, well, he was like, he did
Got hasty.
accelerate
If they could have taken their
timeline.
time, maybe he
Yeah.
could have even overcome Lowlight's
Exactly.
So.
ability, his resilience.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I think it's a really good plot for kids, like something for kids to identify with. So from a marketing or just understanding your audience perspective, I think it's a good one. And the animation was great. That's not really scheme related, but
I just remembered I had a dream when I was a kid that I was attacked and mauled by pound puppies.
Fascinating.
that's weird.
Yeah, they
weird.
tore my arms off.
That's weird.
He's like, I had a dream where my buddy came to life,
Well, that's just Chucky.
murdered me.
Yeah.
Iconic JOEMENT.
Well, for me, it was the part where Lowlight in the junkyard defeated the Cobras and his garbage father,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who I hope is his father's dead. I think he's dead.
I'm sure of it.
Also, Lowlight should get some therapy.
He
Yes.
drank himself to death. Yeah, that like understanding that was a great moment because up until then you knew that Lowlight, and I wonder if this is in his profile. I didn't look that up. I didn't think to, but we knew he had nightmares long before all of this, and you think maybe that's why he's resilient, but maybe he's actually conquering something
Because he went through
Right then and
something
there.
much worse. Oh,
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, in part, but he's been dealing with it a while.
Gotcha.
I don't know if every time it indicates that he doesn't like sleeping because of the nightmares he has. And so maybe now he has conquered his own nightmares and finding out what those are all about is interesting. Like it's deeper than whatever Cobra has to throw at him.
All right,
And
so
scarier.
here's his profile. His real name is Cooper G. McBride, and his rank is that of Staff Sergeant.
Kill the rats, Cooper.
E6, Lowlight was born in Crosby, North Dakota. As a child, Lowlight was afraid of the dark, timid with wild animals, and shy of loud noises until one hunting expedition with his father. He lost his way in the impenetrable darkness and was found 3 weeks later with his flashlight, .22 rifle, and a grin from ear to ear. 10 years later, he was an instructor at the Army Marksmanship Program in Fort Benning and a self-taught expert on image intensification.
It all tracks.
So
Nothing about abuse there, but
Yeah,
maybe
that's-
that's not very fun for a profile.
Yeah.
Or reading between the lines.
yeah.
All right, well, I think that's it. If you would like to help support the show, we invite you to check out our Patreon. Check out all the different, the fun things that are available, including the booty box at the $5 level, best merchandise in the Transformers game,
There's no better.
patreon.com/APODcast, or you can check out the APDC store and just find, a single thing that you like. You could buy us a drink for $5 and just tell us what the ingredients are.
Send us $5 hairs at APODcast on PayPal. Tell me in the notes what you'd like me to make, and I will make that on a future episode.
Additionally, give us a review on Stitcher. Well,
No.
probably not
Not
on Stitcher,
Stitcher
but maybe
anymore.
Spotify.
Don't do it on Stitcher.
Really, Google Play and
Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
Spotify does it too.
Is the most
5 stars,
relevant.
please.
Wherever reviews can be given, just give them there.
And then you can hang out with us virtually on social media. We got X/Twitter, which I don't love.
Let's call it
if I'm just
Twitter.
being honest. Yeah, let's call it Twitter. That's our way of standing up against the man. Facebook, Instagram, the other things.
Threads.
You mentioned another one. YouTube. Find us at APODcast, and and join the Patreon at patreon.com/APODcast, and visit our website. You know, we put lots of little follow-up material.
It's great.
To all of our little references, the movies and photos and things like
stuff.
that on the podcast page at autopoddecepticast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to the unknown patron for sponsoring these last 2 episodes.
We hope you enjoyed them.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really thought it was great, and
I did too. I don't know if I mentioned I loved this. I loved this episode. I loved watching this one. This was very fun for me.
And I know that I may get some resistance here, but I'd be willing to do some more of these.
Yeah.
There's no resistance if money is involved.
Well,
I don't know. I've heard that there is.
$1 million
by the
for
laws of
season 1.
by laws of thermodynamics, there have to be resistance.
There you go.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
My girl wants to party all the time. Party all the time. Party all the time. I'm Rick James. I do coke.
Autobots is sponsored by Bosun. Yeah.